Should be getting an output, right? Pretty simple exercise. Few things I'll explain, then you can go for your exercises. Just I'll also finish them. If you're making any error or something going wrong in your JavaScript, for example, some different element ID it is checking, where the particular element does not exist. So this part won't work, and of course your console is also trying to say some error. The point, this console not only helpful to verify whether the console output is printing, it also try to identify any exceptions or any other errors are happening in your JavaScript. Uncaught type error cannot read the property value of a null. That's what the null came now. If a null is coming, means such object does not have any values. It means that that object never exists. So this particular object which is trying to find from the document having an ID called name field or something www, it doesn't exist in the document itself. So trying to identify a value of a non-existing object is violation, and of course it is throwing an exception here. So that error can also be identified. It also telling where the error is happening. It is happening in the function called submit pressed, and the action which is performed or responsible for calling that particular function is called on click, and it is also giving the line number of where the error is happening. If you click on it, it tries to show you where the error is triggering or happening. For a professional developer, identifying the error is also an important task rather than giving you a flexible solution. Not only writing the logic, having the same capability to debug the application is also very important. We need to find what exactly the error is causing the problem. Your Chrome console or developer tool is pretty helpful in this case. It also tells you or guides you to identify something going wrong over there. So I would be using it quite much. Remember, my browser will be looking like this always when I do something on the web apps. So I'll keep my browser and have my element or the developer console open and try to identify what is happening in and around. Especially on JavaScript, I will have my console tab pressed and have things moving on that. If I don't need it, I'll remove it. If I again need it, of course I will bring it back using right click inspect element going to console. This can be accessed using maybe view developer tool also. You can bring it on. Okay. So make sure you use the safe and correct types to avoid. If at all your application throwing some errors like this or warning like this, there is a need of fixing it. And of course, for a professional developer, errors and warnings are not good. Of course, until they see a plain output or maybe the expected output, they won't conclude the development. So make sure everything is put in right place. Now what we have seen is an important object calling through the document as a reference, that is called document get element by ID, having the ID of a DOM and trying to access its value if it is an input text field, or accessing the inner HTML if it is of non-input text or non-input DOMs. So using that we can either retrieve the value and as well as we can assign the value. So this particular thing will also retrieve the value and of course has the capability to assign the value. So both the side this particular document reference can be used. The document tells the instance of the whole HTML file. So within the document, otherwise JavaScript has access to a full document and it has the capability to read and scan and find the specific ID by using the method called get element by ID, specifying the ID. Then it can access its inner attributes. In this case, the value was the inner attribute for a input text field, and then it accesses it. Maybe redundant, but uh, we can simplify it further when we start using jQuery. But as of now, a simple example on DOM manipulation using JavaScript we have just seen. And also we came to know about the function syntax of JavaScript. JavaScript function always have a keyword called function as a prefix and followed by the name of the function. And based on the argument, it may either have a blank uh, parenthesis or maybe with the argument specified, and the block start with, as usual, a curly brace. And a script tag could be put anywhere in the HTML document, uh, but we'll have to identify which will be the better place, since we have no idea as of now. So we kept it inside the head tag where we used to define this style sheet or whatever declaration we want. The important usage of a JavaScript is widely considered, or it was considered, for a validation purpose, but JavaScript has more usage than the validation. It can manipulate the DOM. Not only that, it right now has the capability to store the data. uh, JavaScript can be used for persisting our data. I mean, I can save the data. Remember, if I type, once I refresh, data gone away in this case, but I can make it save also. So JavaScript has that capability. We will see that maybe in the afternoon session. And not only it can save the data as a individual data type, it also having the capability of uh, standard query language, such as like I can write a queries to retrieve the data. I can even use it for my a complex data type processing, and that can be saved as a structured query language. It has that capability as well. For that example, we are going to see an index DB option of a JavaScript, and I hope that can also be resources. If you notice the resource tab, certain options showing in the Chrome, developer tool, web SQL, index DB, local storage, session storage, cookies, or something like that. We are going to see session storage, what is session, and of course what is session we need to know, but of course after the session storage we will see, and local storage and index DB. Web SQL right now, as per the current draft, it is deprecated, it is no more in use. Only few browsers support, not all the browsers. Cookies may be not relevant at this with the respective to client-side coding, but still we will see a small example on cookies. But the important point, what we are going to see, the index DB, local storage, and session storage. Mean JavaScript also have a capability to store content, and so we can keep a data persisted, not gone after refresh the page. So that also we are going to see. So any changes I do will always be persisted, saved, and it will remain as long as the particular app is installed. So other capabilities, of course, these are all the capabilities that are making the JavaScript along with HTML5 as a fully qualified application development solution for upcoming operating system war, because native languages or native SDKs has the capability of persist the data, whereas if we do not have such option, if we cannot use HTML5 and JavaScript uh, for our mobile application or standalone application development. So those things also we are going to see, but whatever thing we have seen so far is a pretty simple example on a JavaScript type. And the next one, I'm going to tell you how a typical table would be looking like. Then we will incorporate the table as a form where the user will fill some detail. When the user click on submit, uh, the table will get populated with some values. So let us see how a table will be looking like. Let the part be as it is. A table, pretty straightforward. DOM name is the tag name is a table. T head mean header of a table I am trying to define, and table can also have a table body where the content is being repeated with a specific header on the top. So this is a typical signature or maybe a structure of a table. That's my mouse. We'll see, is there anything visible in this case? Nothing is visible because nothing being written. So only the table declared and the header and footer is finding a place. Table start with the table row tr. Within the tr, I'm going to keep table headers, say serial number, sorry, name, roll number, something I can keep typing like this. So subject. We'll see how it looks like, then we'll try to infer what we have just done. It's so big. Okay, it is because I have a zoom set for my browser. If I remove it, will be normal. Order width. Still not visible. Certain attributes being removed in this case. Okay, I'll come to know. I'll just write the table border stuff a little later. Anyway, if you notice the serial number, name, roll number as one field, and the subject. Factor border. It's there, even though the suggestion doesn't come. It means it is deprecated. Now, HTML does not prefer to have a border attribute defined. That's why the choice is not coming, even though when I try to type it is working. Right now, as per HTML5 draft recommends, any border width you specify for a table, please do it through a style sheet. Don't do it directly here. But it's, of course, it will work. But anyway, I gave a border. We'll do a styling and maybe the color or other corrections after adding the CSS. But as of now, I just added a table border with maybe 1 pixel or something like that. So a table header got added. So within the th tag, your header place, and the header is defined in a single row. Tr mean table row. This is one single row. And inside body, I'm going to have another row, set of rows. And in this case, table columns, td. or the way table data or whatever. So in this case, roll number 1. This is the first row. I'm going to repeat some different rows. Okay, I think we can change it. So don't want to waste time. So it created a table for me, structured a data type, so I can represent the data as a group. Building a table pretty simple. All you need to create a tag which is having a name called table. Within the table, first topmost position allotted for a table header of a table. So within the header, usually we only put one single row of elements, which is going to behave as a header for the whole table. Remember that th is not mandatory, but having that will be helpful maybe for DOM processing, which we are going to do in our using HTML, JavaScript. So table header, which is going to contain a single row with a table header attribute further defined according to the definition or data type given for the table to be populated. So serial number, name, roll number becomes a header, and there after the table header there is a table body call. Tag starts. Within the tag, there may be multiple rows. So a row will contain a single set of data, and of course, each row contains specific data, so which is applicable for this specific table header allotted here. So that nicely produces a table here. So hereafter, if you want to create a table, make sure you follow the terminology. Keep the table, and of course define the table header and table body, and inside start writing the rows, and of course with the values specified. I'm going to make this table a quite dynamic one. Afternoon, what we can do is, we'll on the top we create a form where let the user enter the name of the student, roll number of the student, and subject of a student. Whereas the name user can type, roll number, of course it is a number type. The subject, we will create a drop down saying that various subject. So after clicking the particular submit button or save button, the table gets populated automatically, dynamically, and of course as I can enter more number of student records, the table will be dynamically populated, and then it will also save. So we are going to save the content, and we'll go ahead and further beautify or maybe add the CSS element to this table so that it will look much better rather than having a default screen what we have added here. And later we'll also incorporate a specific data type in order to save them. Afternoon, maybe I'll be introducing further data types of JavaScript, because my requirement right now mixed, right? I may have to do a design, I may have to write some HTML, I may have to write some JavaScript. That's what I said. I cannot differentiate if it is HTML5 mean I need to only teach you the HTML part alone. The HTML5 mean the JavaScript would be predominant in the learning curve. Maybe the other parts dedicated to CSS and HTML tag itself. So afternoon we are going to create a form where the user will enter and dynamically the data will be populated in this table. And of course later part we have to make sure we add the CRUD capability, mean creating, updating, retrieving, and of course deleting the entries. For any transaction based application, when the user is given option to add admin, it is inferred that you should also give option to edit it. You should also give option to delete you should also give an option to retrieve the specific data based on the search criteria. So we are going to further extend our requirement, and one point we'll realize, okay, JavaScript is doing too much of work, and then we will convert this as a mobile app so that this app can be used to record your shopping list. For example, if you're going somewhere, you want to save some shopping items, define this day you need to buy this one, you define it and save it, and that app can be used to track your shopping details, something like that. So we are going to, of course, extend our requirements slightly further. Maybe after, if possible, in the afternoon session. Otherwise, I'll take it in the next session as well, because if you feel slightly overdosed. In fact, you may have noticed I took a longer time to explain some simple terms, and this is how things will start. But as I progress, my interaction will come down, will reduce, and of course, I'll be more concentrating on the code. I won't be explaining in detail. So this is how in the very beginning of the class starts. But once we get into a same level of understanding, we will further add additional contents. If you have noticed from yesterday exercise also, I repeated the same code again, I wrote it again. So unless you get some sort of idea, okay, this is being repeated, and keep doing again and again, and then an additional point is added without knowing the load, and then you will easily get what we are trying to say. Then it would be easy for me to add more contents as we go. So it is very important you do the hands-on part whenever the time is given. Don't keep anything waiting. And I would be asking whether the exercise is done. Please give me the right and maybe correct answer. If you yet to complete, please tell me. Accordingly, I'll plan. So don't try to say, okay, we completed. You don't try to fool yourself, because I have nothing to do. If I explain you whether you perform, you don't perform, I have no problem. But at least I want to make sure everybody learn properly, and of course you serve the need of this classroom. So once we learn, of course we should get deployed over there without minimal support. Okay, fine. So I'll push the source code to a website. Maybe it's a very small one, but anyway I'll push them. Uh, the last exercise I hope you completed. It's a very small one I did, right? Still working on it. You can work on. Maybe after the break.